Hello, and welcome to our overview of Mather's Depletion Optimization tool. We built this tool to provide winery leadership the data and insights to make intelligent pricing and inventory management decisions to support their growing D2C businesses. There are three primary features of the Depletion Optimization tool, and we'll briefly examine each to demonstrate how the tool alleviates pain points for wineries. So let's dive in. The first objective of the tool is to visualize the rate of inventory depletion for the current and previous vintages for each varietal in a winery's portfolio. Users can select the varietal of interest from the drop-down menu in the upper left corner of the dashboard. These plots are built from inventory transaction reports, which traditionally come in formats that are difficult and time-consuming to make sense of. At Mather, our team does the heavy lifting of ingesting, cleaning, and organizing this data so users can easily evaluate the inventory depletion of their current vintage against previous years. On the screen now is a Pinot Noir from a sample winery, with the gray lines depicting the observed depletion rates from the 2012 through 2017 vintages. Inventory depletion is tracked for each vintage from the date of the first sales through sellout or the last observed sell date. The table below provides relevant data for each vintage, including total supply, first sale date, average gross and net prices, and average discounts to help provide context for the shape of the depletion rates above. In the case of this Pinot Noir, we can see that the depletion rate of the current 2017 vintage is significantly faster than the 2016 vintage, with only 53% of the current vintage remaining, compared to the 74% that was remaining at this point during the previous sales year. In the table below, we can see that the supply of the 2017 vintage was 567 bottles less than the 2016 vintage, which provides some insight into the accelerated depletion rates. For planning purposes, we also apply a forecast of inventory depletion in blue, which provides the user with an expected time frame for sellout. Now that we have an expectation for how quickly the current vintage will sell out, how can a winery use price adjustments to impact the rate of depletion to better meet their goals? A major input for making this type of decision is price elasticity, otherwise known as price sensitivity. Price elasticity is a measure of how consumers respond to changes in price for a given good or service. At Mather, we apply econometric modeling techniques to a winery's own consumer sales data to estimate the price elasticity for every SKU in a winery's portfolio. The models allow us to measure the response and demand for a given wine from historical changes in price while controlling for other relevant factors like macroeconomic conditions, the number of club members, and seasonality. We find that most wines at most wineries, price elasticities range from 0 to -2, with 0 indicating a price change would be met without any reduction in demand, and a -2 indicating demand would respond twice as much as the change in price. For our example of the Pinot Noir with elasticity of approximately -0.6, we would estimate that a 10% price increase would be met with a 6% reduction in demand for this wine. The price elasticity for each of a winery's varietals can easily be compared in the bar chart in the top right section of the dashboard. As we will see, these elasticities provide valuable insight as users scenario plan to optimize their revenue and inventory. The last and most impactful feature of the depletion optimization tool is combining the inventory depletion forecast for remaining inventory with the price elasticity estimates to predict the changes in depletion velocity as a result of adjusting price. This feature allows users to determine the price adjustments needed to maximize revenue, match depletion goals to reality, or both. The price adjustment box at the top of the dashboard allows the user to input price adjustment percentages to observe the expected shift in depletion and the corresponding impact on sales, which is shown in the table at the bottom right of the dashboard. For example, in the case of this Pinot Noir, the expected sellout of the current vintage is around week 76. If the winery were to increase the price of the wine by 10%, which we can do here at the top, it should shift the sellout date by 3 weeks to week 79. But this would also result in an additional $6.3 thousand in revenue from the remaining 1,400 bottles. A 20% increase which we can also do at the top, would shift the sellout an additional 2 weeks to week 81 and result in $12.4 thousand in additional revenue. In a situation when the winery needs to quicken the depletion of the current vintage to make room for the next vintage release, price reduction scenarios can be evaluated to meet those goals as well. Simply add a negative sign to the adjustment to do so. Thank you for taking the time to review the features of Mather's new depletion optimization tool. As we have seen, the tool provides a flexible framework for helping wineries navigate challenging pricing and inventory management decisions for their D2C businesses. At Mather, we do the heavy lifting to provide world-class analytics in an easily digestible and actionable format, so wineries can focus on doing what they do best, making great wine.